You don't tug on Superman's cape. You don't spit into the wind. You don't pull the mask of the old Lone Ranger, and you don't mess around with Jim. Kirby Smart, though, Matt DeBerry says that Superman is dead. He doesn't want to hear about Superman. You're not going to be tugging on his cape. He was talking about replacing Brock Bowers. I'm not sure. He was saying that no one on the team needs to be Superman, and he's exactly correct about that.
Yeah, in a way, he did kind of call Brock Bowers Superman, or else he wouldn't have made that analogy.
Right.
Superman's Bill Dean. He's dead. He's not alive. Don't be Superman. That's what he's telling his team. Don't be Brock Bowers, because you're not Brock Bowers. You're not going to be Brock Bowers. That guy is different. He's Nick Chubb, just a different dude. Yeah. Now, and he's basically saying no one individually can replace him. You can replace the production with a lot of guys, but he's not asking anyone to step up and be Brock Bowers. Someone asked him about Oscar Delp and if his role is going to be increased. And Kirby's like, no, Oscar's going to keep doing what Oscar's doing. We're not asking him to do more just because Brock Bowers is out. We don't want to change anything, how we go about our offense. We're going to do the same thing. Other guys are just going to have to make plays, but no one's going to be in a bigger role because, Brock Bowers is out. And he doesn't want anyone to try to do more than they can or be a different type of player than what they've been coached to be. It makes sense because these guys have egos too. Mike Bobo doesn't want to change his offense because his best player's out. He's going to say, no, what I run works, whether it's Brock Bowers or someone else. Now, Brock Bowers did save the day at Auburn. I mean, it was the Brock Bowers show. But that we knew that could not happen the rest of the way. Right. That was one game. Brock kind of saved him, but can't do it all season. And now, these guys aren't an opportunity to see, more targets come their way. He did say that. He said other guys will be in a position to make more plays, but I'm not asking them to be different players than what they are. And I like the Superman kind of analogy. Superman is dead, but Brock Bowers is not dead. He's only out for 4 to 6 weeks. So they could have him back by the playoffs. But until then, guys just have to play their role. And I think Georgia should be just fine.
So there's a term in basketball, because there's only 5 people, there's this term called hero ball. And that's what Kirby's talking about, is he doesn't need anybody going out there being a hero. No hero ball. No, waiting for the shot clock to drop to 6, and then you're going fist, and then you're just like your best player is going to be at the top of the key waiting for a screen. He's just going to, no, they need to run the offense that they've got. They need to execute as much as they can. They don't have Brock Bowers, and that's okay. I mean, they scored 24 points without Brock Bowers against Vanderbilt. So it's not like they, can't function without him. And there were times in this season when Brock was not super noticeable, and they still won those games. Now, what did Brock do against LSU last year? Do you remember?
I think he caught some passes.
Okay. Do you remember what he did against Tennessee last year? Exactly. So my point is, you have great players like Jalen Carter, Brock Bowers. Those guys can just go win you a game. Well, he's done that already. So, you don't need him to he's not, if you're waiting for Brock Bowers to win you, 4 games, then you're trying to be USC and Caleb Williams. It's not going to work.
Problem.
One more time.
You
do have problems. And by the way, Brock Bowers drops passes too in the end zone. He did that against Kentucky. So it's not like he's perfect, and he makes mistakes too. This team is listen, I said this a lot last year, and I'm going to say it now. This team and this program is not about any one player. If you are assuming that or thinking that, you're making a mistake about this Georgia team. That's not who they are. That's not how, this program has been constructed. They played the bulk of last year, Matt, without at least one of their top, first round draft picks, which was they did not have Jalen Carter for the bulk of all of October, and then from that point forward, when they started getting him back, Nolan Smith was out for the year. So this can't be about any one player, and it shouldn't be about any one player. And Kirby talking about Superman's dead. No one needs to be a hero. here, and there's no reason for it because they've got a lot of really good players. I mean, Ladd McConkey's really good, Marcus Rosens-Jackson's really good, John Edwards is really good, Carson Beck's really good. They have an offensive line that's really playing well, no matter who they put in there. They have a really good team.
Yeah, and thankfully, Kirby taught the media something about football. That's what he loves to do, is make us smarter people. He said that you guys, still doing the you guys, like he's from New Jersey or something, said, you guys think these are Brock Bowers plays. They're not Brock Bowers plays. We could put anyone in there. We just put Brock Bowers there because he was the best player and the best
I actually
option.
did not know that. So there are plays that are not just for one player. Is that accurate?
Exactly. Yeah.
So he said, like when Marcus Rosemy-Jacksaint goes out, he is an eligible receiver.
Exactly. Yeah, he can catch passes too.
Oh my God, that is revolutionary.
Yeah.
I was unaware of that.
It's not my Bobo's going to cross this play out because Brock Bowers can't play. Right. No, they're going to put someone else there, and that's what he was trying to explain to us media guys, because he doesn't think any of us know what we're talking about. But it's something, we could talk about now. Just say y'all. Say y'all don't know what you're talking about.
That's really what triggers me about Kirby more than anything else. I mean, like, he's from Bainbridge, right? I mean, like, there's like, can you get more South Georgia than that?
That's where the term y'all was born, probably in Bainbridge or Valdosta or something like that. But he basically said, it almost is a plug and play. Brock Bowers isn't there, but this play has been very successful, and we know what to do. Yeah. Put Marcus Rosen out there. Put Ra Thomas out there. It's a very versatile offense. There's a lot of, opportunities to diversify what they're trying to do. And just because Brock Bowers is out there doesn't mean the offense is becoming limited at all. So he's trying to make it seem like, and he's right, that we should still be scoring a lot of points without Brock Bowers.
No, there's no reason why they. Yeah, let me say this real quick. Our buddies at EcoPoly have got a great sale this week right now. If you're watching this, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Now the hours are a little bit different for Saturday than Thursday. Fall inventory closeout sale, 50% off. Sale starts on Thursday. You got Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Thursday and Friday, the Saturday, the hours are 8 p.m. to 7 p.m. 8 a.m. to 7 p.m. So a long time there. And then Saturday, 8 a.m. to 5 p.m., which is also a very long amount of time. 805 Industrial Drive Boulevard in Eastman, 31023. 105 Industrial Boulevard, Eastman, Georgia, 31023. That is the fall inventory closeout sale. You can get 50% off of all of these types of things. It's a really good opportunity to go down there and get some awesome, furniture that you're going to use at any of your places that you habitat. I think the thing for me, not just the Vanderbilt game, but generally speaking here lately, Matt, Georgia's really run the ball effectively. You want to not worry about Brock Bowers. How about have really good, run game? You're not going to have that issue from that point forward.
Yeah. And I think Ladd McConkey coming back healthier and healthier by the week, it seems, is a big deal too. You're missing Brock Bowers, but you're kind of getting Ladd McConkey back. I think this bye week is, if you're talking about one player specifically who needed this bye week, it probably was Ladd McConkey to get him closer to 100%. Yeah. But like we said in another video, got to get those running backs healthy too. That's only going to make things easier for Carson Beck and the rest of the offense. If they can run the ball effectively, his job becomes a lot easier. And there's a lot more guys open, so it's not where, he gets to a point where he said, okay, where's 19? We got to make a big 3rd and 8. I have to go to 19. No, there are other options out there, and we've seen these guys make big plays, whether it's Dom Lovett, Marcus Rosemy-Jacksaint, Ra Thomas, the names that we've said multiple times now. There are lots of weapons on this offense, and there is a little bit of a list. I don't think you could say Arian Smith is a weapon necessarily anymore after this year, but there are still lots of weapons for Carson Beck. He just doesn't have 19, who, he might be the best player in college football. But if Georgia loses a regular season game, it's not because Brock Bowers was hurt. That's what I think.
I agree with that. I mean, you lost because you lost. But Brock has been very productive lately. The first 3 games, he had just over 100 yards, 78, 3, and then 54. These last 4 games, He went for 121, 157, 132. These are all receiving, and then he went for 22 against Vandy before he got hurt. I think when you step back and think about it, this, it's not about Oscar. I mean, Oscar Delp is really good. You and I both know. I mean, how many times did you watch Oscar before he got to Georgia? A lot, right? Yeah.
More than everyone else.
Right. Yeah. And then you got Lawson. I mean, there's a lot of playmakers at tight end still. They do need to get healthy at running back. And Pierce Sperling is dressing out. I think for the first time I noticed him dressed out at Vanderbilt. But that he may have dressed out before that. But I just don't. I think. Okay, yes, like you said, I just want to be very clear about something. If they lose, it's not because they didn't have their best player. If they lose, it's because they lost. They have a lot of really, really good players. So that's, and then nobody needs to play hero ball. You want to win a game or take a game over. Cedric Van Pran, Xavier Truss, Tate Rowley. They are really good offensive linemen on this team. No one ever talks about the offensive linemen because they're not out there dancing around making plays. Cedric Van Pran made a play the other day, no question. But if you want to take over a game, do it with the offensive line. Those guys can get the job done. And I think there's very few teams that Georgia's offensive line can't take advantage of in college football. And there's very few teams that they can't do that to that are on their schedule before Brock Bowers comes back. I'll give you the last word.
Does Superman have he didn't have a sidekick, right? He didn't have a Robin like Batman.
So Superman, Clark Kent had worked at the Daily World. I can't remember which paper it was. But he was about Lois Lane. She was super cute. And then you had Jimmy. I can't remember Jimmy's last name. The Spin Doctors wrote a song about this. But no, Superman did not have a sidekick. But I do want to look up Jimmy Olsen. Yeah, Jimmy Olsen's Blues was the name of the Spin Doctors song. And Jimmy Olsen never could understand why Lois Lane was all about Clark Kent. And it was because, of course, he was Superman. So I don't know who Jimmy Olsen is in this scenario. Probably Shane Beamer. But
also, do we know he's dead? Was there a movie where Superman died?
So Superman did die once or twice in the movies, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, I
was never a comic book guy. I know comic books are a little dated for you and your generation, but Superman comic was a big deal. He was DC, I think. I don't really get into the Marvel and DC thing, but Jimmy Olsen was as much a sidekick as existed. Yes, that was DC Comics. He was as much a sidekick as existed. Batman thankfully had Catwoman, but that was about it. She was really not. They just kind of dated or whatever. I mean, she was not his sidekick. She was a thief. She was a villain.
But yeah, and she was in the trilogy, the Christian Bale trilogy, but there was no Robin. Maybe it was Joseph Gordon-Levitt.
Actually, they were building to Robin. Okay, so I love Anne Hathaway. I love Anne Hathaway in a Catwoman outfit, particularly. I think we all do. But they were building towards the police deputy who kept putting the bat signs. They were building towards him being Robin, but they never went forward with the movie after that because I guess Nolan had enough. Which I watched that film the other day. That is really a good film. And Bale, whoever did Bale, was quite good. But that whole movie is a really good movie. Bane, excuse me, I said Bale. Yeah, Bane. Yeah. And the Superman and the Batman before that was good. Superman has never come close as movies to Batman. And whether you're talking about 1989 Batman or anything after that, Superman movies with Christopher Reeve and all that, they were adequate at best movies. The Batman, including 1989 with Prince on the album, Those were far better movies in my view.
I thought Seal was on the album.
You're talking about
Kiss
you're talking.
another.
Wait a second now. You're talking about the mid '90s Batman. Those got kind of tricky. Kiss from
Michael Keaton was good.
You're talking about Kiss from a Rose, the song. Yes.
That's a 5-star song.
Yeah, it's a great song. But some of the other Batman, like the Prince album from Batman, was pretty. I'll just say this. Like Barbie, I'm not sure anything in my lifetime was as big as Barbie was this summer. Probably Star Wars. But Batman in 1989, that merchandise was everywhere. Everywhere. People had the tapes, they had like shirts. And Jack Nicholson was the Joker. He did a great job. But that was a different Batman. And of course, he was after Kim Basinger, who was Vicky Vale.
Georgia. I think she went to Georgia. Kim Basinger.
She's a big Georgia supporter for sure. The tennis facility wouldn't have lights without her, if I'm not mistaken.
We gotta have her on.
Well, whenever she's ready to come on, and I mean, why is Jeff Foxworthy not the next Batman? Is what I want to know. Can Batman not have a mustache?
I don't see why not. Let's go.
Yeah, could you see Jeff Foxworthy being Batman? That would be so interesting.
First in line.
What's the deal with Cracker Barrel? Why can't we go? I mean, could you imagine Batman going to Cracker Barrel for some hash browns, something like that? No, I those Batman movies were excellent lately, and I did not see the one with the guy that dates J-Lo, Ben Affleck.
Oh, Ben Affleck.
Was he not Batman? Ben Affleck?
Yeah, I didn't see that one either.
I didn't see that one. I'm sorry, I missed that one. But yes, Superman does not have a sidekick, and we don't have any more commentary about this, so we're done with this show.